Hello, RC hobbyists. Thank you for tuning into this episode. Today, as you saw, we've got the optic and we've got some cut and shuts. These are my first time ever doing a cut and shut tire. They are the iRock Super Swampers, which are actually the stock tires that come on the Red Cat Gen 7 Pro. I have had these guys kicking around for years, and I had 5 of them because the Pro has that little spare tire on the back, and they've just been sitting around. So I've been wondering what it would take and how it goes building cut and shut tires, and I was like, well, I've got these, I've got 5 of them, I could do this free of cost, with the exception of I had to buy some glue. So that's what we have here. Now we're going to be dealing with a little bit of phone overheating probably. It's the middle of the well, not the middle of the afternoon. It's, between 11 and 12. So it'll get toasty once we hit the sun. We'll probably struggle, but just wanted to get these out on the rocks and see how they work on the optic. Man, I love driving the optic, and I think a large part of it has to do with the center of gravity. So because the weight isn't so far forward like all my other rigs, it actually makes it just so, it just drives different. It downhills really well, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun. So these tires are 5-inch tall tires, but here's the thing, they are a stock tire, and so they're terrible, to be honest. The traction on them is awful. Let me show you. So you can see they are semi scrubbed in. I drove these on my my Gen 7 for a while, except for, check this out, the cut and shut, where I added in the tire. That was completely unused tire. So we've got used tire with a little patch of brand new. Now, cut and shut tires are really difficult to make. I probably picked a bad first try, but look at the gaps. Whew. It ain't great. It ain't great, but it was a really fun learning opportunity. And so if you're trying to make your first cut and shut, if that's why you're here, what you want to keep in mind is, that's where I needed to be. That's what you need to keep in mind, is following the treads. Don't worry so much about, I gotta follow the tread perfectly, but focus more on getting a cut that you can duplicate. So these tires are really difficult because of the lug. So if you just follow the lug, it gets confusing across these middle sections here, which, gave me grief. So as you can see here, if you don't cut perfectly each tire, like your tire and the little insert, you end up with gaps, which so far the glue has held. I haven't had issues with them tearing apart, so it's almost like a prevented tire. But that's just something to keep in mind. If I were to do this again, I would probably follow a lug here, because that's easy, and then just split. Try and go right down the middle of these inner treads so that I'm at least being consistent. So the reason cut and shut tires are so popular these days is because they allow your tire to be taller without being wider. And that's the issue with the 2.2s. Now, a 5-inch tall tire, you may as well not make a cut and shut. There's enough 5-inch tall tires out on the market. You can see my traction is just terrible. Those back tires can't get enough traction to pull me up this. But they should. If I go this way to avoid... Come on, settle down. You can see that back tire's just kind of trapped. There we go. Like, if you're going to make a cut and shut, I would get it up into that, like, 5.25 range. Because there's a lot of 5-inch tires on the market. Vanquish has some good ones. I like the tires that they have stock with the stance and with this optic. I think they're solid tires. But I guess if you want a trencher or the BFG crawlers in a 5-inch, then you'd make them. But I would go to that 5.25 range. The only reason my tires are 5-inch is because I didn't realize they would be when I was cutting. I honestly don't know where I went wrong, because I added 3 treads, which I thought it was going to give me a 5.25, but it ended up giving me only a 5-inch tire. So be mindful of that when you're cutting out your insert piece, that you know it's going to give you the right size. The video I watched to help me with this, he did 3 treads, but he was cutting what tire? I don't even remember what tire he was cutting, but it wasn't a Swamper, and it wasn't these crappy IROC tires either. So if you have had success running these Red Cat Gen 7 Pro stock Super Swampers, let me know. And what kind of rock are you running on? Because, I mean, if you just, like, look at this. They just don't hook up. They just don't. Now, to be fair, the inserts I have in these could be softer, definitely, but I don't have a 5-inch insert just laying around to drop into these, so I've kind of got a two different foams. So that is a to be fair. So let me know if you've had success with these tires. What foams did you run in them, and what rock are you running on? So the obvious thing going on, I'm panelless on my rig right now. I've got the panels off, being painted. Custom design and hand painted by my brother-in-law's girlfriend. I'm super stoked for those to be done. It's kind of, I gave input on the design, but she's an artist, so I was like, here's my concept, here's what I'd like to see, and then I just told her to have fun with it. So she's doing just that. Super fun crossover here. Nice. The Optic, man, this is a fun truck to drive. How many of you have this rig? They've been out for a while now. How are you enjoying it? I've made very minor, slide on down, don't have an issue with that, braking traction with these tires. I've made very minor adjustments to mine. I've got the Fusion SE. Come on, I need this sidewall to pull. I got the cheap Fusion SE in here, stole it out of my Red Cat Ascent. And then we've got some 10 millimeter wheel hubs, or spacers, hubs, what do you call those? Wheel hub spacers, to widen this thing up a little bit. Those are just 3D printed by myself. I actually snapped 2 of them, 2 different days, trying to make this video. So I just redesigned and printed a new one today. Forgive me, not today, last night. Threw it on there. This is my first time driving and it's holding up well. I just had it printing the wrong direction, so it sheared it. But yeah, you guys, the cut and shuts are fun. West Desert Wheeler makes some really high quality cut and shut tires. That's what my... Oh, we're gonna roll it. Oh, maybe not. We're getting sideways. So I'm gonna start going uphill because when that rear slides off. Yeah, West Desert Wheeler makes some amazing cut and shut tires, super high quality. And I know he'll take care of you. If you end up like tearing one or something, like, you know, obviously just due to natural driving, not doing something stupid and damaging it. But he'll take care of you. westdesertwheeler.com to find those. And then of course, if you know, he's got a YouTube channel, an amazing driver out here in my local southern Utah. So if you've got the money and you don't want to screw them up and potentially waste money buying another pair of tires, go ahead, order them from him. He does a great job. But if you're here because you want to try making your own, those are my suggestions. Cut center down your tread. Make sure you're paying attention to that, so that you don't end up with big old holes and or the tire not as tall as you want it to be, which is both things that I had happen to me. Yeah, these tires, this is not a difficult obstacle, but tires are not wanting to grab traction. Well guys, thanks for watching. It's going to be a wrap. Let's see if we can get this last obstacle. This is a high breakover obstacle, and the optic does not have that, as you can see here. Woo. Let's see. Yep, not a chance.